Just how dangerous is Pegasus? Can it cost people not just political power but at times even their lives? Well, so far we've been educating you on what exactly is Pegasus, how does it work, how does it infect your phone, what access does it hold over you. It started with the leak list of actually 50,000 smartphone users since 2016, which a consortium of media organizations and outlets, the Paris-based news agency Forbidden Stories, the human rights group Amnesty International, together with 17 news outfits, verified and followed up. It's a long list, 50,000, and the reporters of these media outlets managed to identify 1,000 people on that list in 50 countries. These 1,000 included 10 prime ministers, 3 of them sitting in power right now. 7 of them are former prime ministers as well, 3 presidents as well, and a name. Let's try and bring out those faces for you, the prime ministers that we are talking about, those 10 prime ministers. Like I said, 3 of them currently in power as well. It has 3 presidents and a king, several members of the Arab royal families, at least 65 business executives, 85 human rights activists, 189 journalists, and more than 600 politicians and government officials. Now, this is a story that is not just limited to India, it tells you it is spread across the globe. Many are saying after COVID, this is the biggest story of our times. The maximum of these numbers, interestingly, were found in a cluster of 10 countries. Those countries on your screen, maximum numbers from this cluster. India features there along with Bahrain, Hungary, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Morocco, Rwanda, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So what did the journalists do? They contacted these people on the list, and some of the phones were then sent to the Amnesty Security Lab for a forensic analysis, where it was established that indeed these numbers on the leak list were infected with Pegasus. Now, some of you might think, so what? What's the big deal? Haven't we known this for a while now, that country and leaders spy on each other? Rival countries use and these days are using more and more digital tools to watch activities, digital warfare as it is often called and referred to. Well, to those, listen into today's story. Listen into the story of Jamal Khashoggi. And let's try and understand what role Pegasus had to play in his killing. Now, on the 2nd of October 2018, journalist Jamal Khashoggi walked into the Saudi consulate in Turkey, but he never came back out. According to the latest Pegasus revelations, while Jamal's phone was never found, phones of those in his inner circle were infected with Pegasus. This included his wife, his fiancé, his friend and former Director General of the Al Jazeera, all targeted by Pegasus, meaning not just all the information on their phones was available to the hacker, but also live location of these people. They could be heard, watched all the time. And there was more. Some reports also suggest that Khashoggi was made to come to the Saudi consulate by design. It's what's called speared phishing, or a more targeted form of phishing. What happened? Well, according to the Citizen Lab researchers, a text was sent to the Saudi Sten Omar Abdulaziz, designed as a shipping update about a package that he had ordered. The link was traced to the domain connected to Pegasus and leading it to all the conversation that happened between him and Jamal. This included their daily conversations, when they will meet, where they will meet, etc. And 2 months later, Khashoggi entered the building for what he thought was a routine appointment to pick up papers that allow him to marry his Turkish fiancée. And minutes later, he said, in fact, it is said at this point that he was killed and murdered. And it is not like the hackers stopped using Pegasus post his murder. According to Amnesty's digital forensic analysis, Pegasus was successfully installed in his fiancée's phone 4 days after he was killed. Further attempts to hack her phone followed in June 2019, although they did not appear to be successful at that time. And while the investigation mostly points to Khashoggi's close associates being targeted in the months after the murder, there is also now identified evidence suggesting Pegasus targeted the phone of his wife several months before his death And this happened between November 2017 to April 2019. A forensic examination of the wife's phone, which was an Android phone, found that she had sent 4 text messages that contained the malicious links connected to Pegasus. A close friend of Khashoggi, the former Director General, the man that you see at the bottom of your screen over there, his phone was also hacked. And his phone, in fact, was infected as recently as July of 2021. What is the bottom line here then? Well, before and after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the now exposed phone analysis shows that constant monitoring of the campaign seeking justice for Jamal by his friends, family, associates, all of that was tracked minute to minute, and perhaps that is happening even now as we speak. So having understood that, what really remains to be understood is where are we when it comes to the legality of this entire case and several others which will come to light as investigations carry on in this massive list of 50,000 people.